All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us on a new episode of Smokin Fire. I am your host, LK the God, the deity, the mogul. I'm here with some very, very special co-hosts of mine. But first, before I get into the co-host, let me tell everybody to subscribe on YouTube, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, comment, give us some topics, leave some kind words. Now, to the co-host, Wesley Snipes, Sniper Elite. Next, we have Mac Measy, producer extraordinaire, timestamp killer, be mad.
What's going on?
We have C Jizzle live from Liberty Sizzle, aka Puff Go Poppy. Yeah. He's not really puffing today, but he's weird. He's here, and he has dreads, and he shakes them all the time. Last but not least, we have Bubsy Wubsy, aka Bubba Samuels. I change it every time. Now, we're going to start things off a little different today. I would like to start off with Puffco politics because we have a lot of shit to talk about in politics. So whenever Pastor C Jizzle is ready to step to the mic, we're going to go ahead and get started.
All right. I mean, so
I can tell by the mean.
Yeah. So it looks like we're doing World War III. So shout out to that. So Putin has basically invaded Ukraine, which most people which pretty much expected, but they didn't expect the scale of how gangster his invasion would be. It was kind of like there's a separatist faction of Ukraine in the east that Russia has laid claim to. So we expected them to go take that shit over and claim it. And that would be the aggressive action. But this man just gonna take the whole fucking country. His speech was basically there's US aggression and NATO and all that, but also just fuck them and we're taking it, basically. And it's like, oh, okay. You can't do that. But it's led to, we kind of talked about before camera, a lot of bad takes on both sides because the U.S. did have a part to play in this, and NATO, and there has been aggressive actions on Russia's border. The U.S. has, meddled with coups and installing puppet dictators and arming rebels and all the typical bullshit that they do to, further our interests in geopolitics and to, basically that does threaten Russia in certain ways. So yes, we have a part to play, but also it's led to people overcompensating, which you see a lot in today's politics of the overly contrarian take, where it's just well, I'm pro-Russia now. It's just yeah, but that's a little too far. You can be against US imperialism without rooting on Russian imperialism because they're invading a sovereign country and killing civilians right now in the name of imperialism, but it's just for Russia. They have global ambitions just like we have global ambitions. So it's, at the end of the day, war is pretty fucking stupid in itself. The fact that we're flirting with nuclear devastation of the entire planet over the interests of a bunch of rich assholes is basically where we're at in 2022. So the doomsday clock is a minute from fucking midnight at this point. With the reports that come out day by day, there's talks about sanctions and what Biden and the Biden administration are going to do about it. They're talking about even going as far as to cut Russia off from the global banking system. But if they do that, Russia has already stated that if they're cut off from the global banking system, they're going to take that as a declaration of war. And that's when it starts to get scary. Because right now we're talking about the Ukraine is not a member of the UN. So them being invaded doesn't immediately start World War III. It's more of they're flirting with it. But if Russia says that, they feel like America has declared war on them, or, if a Russian soldier dies from some UN situation of any kind, then we're buckling up for some actual nuclear war, which is fucking terrifying. And I don't think the citizens of either country want any part of that. I think the last poll I saw in America was the support for a war with Russia was around 25%. And in Russia, it is 50%. And they endure a lot more propaganda than we do. So it's only 50% Russia when they have state-controlled media. That's not a lot of support for them. So that is the only silver lining, is most people in both countries don't want any fucking part of a random ass nuclear war. But at the same time, we're not the ones calling the shots. So we have to see how Putin acts. And like I said, again, it's going to be up to the response of the international community to be proportional, because the international community doesn't have a lot of moral standing to be lecturing Putin, because the US does this type of shit all the time, the type of thing that Putin is doing right now. So it's not like we have the moral authority, but at the same time, if you're going to be an activist against war, and imperialism, you have to speak out against it on both sides when we do it, and also when he's doing it. So that's my take, and the quickest, simplest breakdown I can give you, but it is a very complex geopolitical situation right now.
So you made a good point in the fact that as America, Russia is not doing anything that we don't do. Like we can find a reason to go fight a country that's not part of the UN or a smaller nation and be like, hey, you got some stuff I like. I want that. Like, run your coins, bro. We're bigger than you. And that's essentially what Putin is doing. And it's like, hey, bro, America, you did this before, recently. So you really don't have the right to step in or say anything, because nobody stepped in when y'all was just beating the bricks off in the Middle East.
Yeah, like it's not like we haven't invaded countries that haven't attacked us before. So it's like we don't really have the moral authority to be like, hey, you can't do this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but at the same time, like they don't have the moral authority to just invade Ukraine. It's like a lot of just innocent Ukrainian citizens who are trying to go to work, and then Russia's like invading their fucking country. The Ukrainian president's like, any male who is of fighting age needs to pick up a rifle and defend the country. If I'm just trying to go to work, I'm not trying to hear that shit. Like what?
My thing is, again, because it's a dick swinging contest with the higher ups and everything like that. It's kind of like, what, you know, if you're a small country, and this is unfortunate, but this is kind of where we are in the world right now. You got to find a way to concede, bro. I feel like as a leader, right? There's no way that the Ukraine beats Russia without help. Help causes a bigger issue, depending partially on who helps and who's in a position to help. So it's kind of like, what can we give you to make you chill, bro? Like, what is it that you want? Do you want the whole country? Is there some resources you after? Like,
he wants the whole thing. He laid it out in his speech, because like the whole thing he was complaining about at first was the NATO buildup on his border, which is legit, but like Ukraine's not in NATO. So at the same time, like, but he gave away the game in his speech, Putin, when he's just like, yeah, it's all this NATO aggression and all this, but also the Soviet Union should have never let Ukraine be a country in the first place. So it's like he's backtracking, like, my predecessors fucked up, so I'm gonna take care of their mistake and go take what is rightfully ours back. So it is a beef where it's just like, we feel like this is ours, and like you said before, we're just taking the shit at this point. Like, we felt like this is ours, and like we're just not playing games. Like, we're just gonna take it by force at this point. And it's
really
like,
wild that funny enough, a couple of people, including myself, I had to get educated on this whole thing once it started happening. I definitely thought Ukraine was a part of Russia before this. I was really surprised when they were like, oh yeah, we're thinking about invading. I was like, I thought y'all already were under them.
If you ask a Ukrainian, because I've met one before, you'd be like, oh, you guys speak Russian? They'd be like, no, we speak Ukrainian.
Mm.
All right. Okay. Tell me oxygen isn't air.
It's kind of like when you meet like when you meet like an African person and you're like, oh, do you speak, well, I'm pretty sure there's no like African, but like they'll speak their native country's native tongue specifically. So, but to us, it's unbeknownst to us, as far as we're concerned, it might as well all be like Swahili or whatever.
But I agree that, yes, I believe the Ukraine was like CJ said, was at one point in time part of Russia. And like you said, Putin is just like, hey, look, this was ours in the first place. You know how back in the day, kings would be like, I lay claim to this. This was my birthright. That's essentially kind of what's happening.
yeah, and it kind of, like I said, it gives the game away, because like I said, although Putin has legitimate gripes about UN buildups on his border, like he gave away the game where it's like, yeah, that's it. But and like, I feel like it's ours. So it's like, so you were going to do this regardless. You were just looking for the excuse, and like this was the excuse, and now you're daring the international community to do something about it, basically. Where he's like, if anyone interferes, like that's a declaration of war on Russia, and then them being a nuclear power is going to make everyone think twice about doing anything about it. So again,
You
like
know,
my whole thing is like he's kind of checkmated you already, because like what Nick said, anything you do is just going to lead to further escalation and take us closer to World War III. So at this point, like, since they're not in NATO, like, it's not a lot you can do for Ukraine other than, like I said, hit Russia with some sanctions, give them some aid and, humanitarian aid, other than that. But like, if you interfere, like, then it's on like Donkey Kong.
well, the funny thing,
behind the scene, my bad, the side behind, because the problem is that if the United States, and I feel like it's probably the United States specifically, if we help Russia, then China's going to be like, oh, we've been waiting for our chance for y'all Bama's to slip up this whole time. Because it's like, and I'm gonna be honest, I think if we had a one-on-one with Russia or a one-on-one with China, I feel like we come out on top. But if we had to fight both, I feel like we don't come out on top. I feel like we take that L every time.
I mean, if
that
we're just
war
talking
would be
about
L for everyone. Like, just that war happening in general would just be an L for everyone. Like, once we get to that point, we're talking like extinction of the human race. One nuke goes off, that's it.
It
Like,
really, it really depends on like where that war is, because like in a nutshell, like if we're talking about nukes, like CJ said, nobody wins. But if we're talking about like any level of like ground warfare, we actually lose to Russia. Not to China. We would probably beat China because even though China's got a lot of bodies, like they're kind of in a very centralized place, but we probably lose to Russia because, as people were talking about recently, it's like Russia does have a high population, but they have the advantage of the fact that they have 11 time zones. Like, that is a huge place to try to like actually lock down and say we own this thing. Like, America can barely do that now, and we're not even as big as Russia. But I do agree. Like, if it came down to nukes, like, yeah, if America just got theirs off first, it would be a wash. But like, everyone loses at that point.
Yeah, I agree that.
Christ, we're talking about nukes. Oh
nobody should own it, bro. Like, just purely off the fact that the environmental. Once you nuke a country, it's uninhabitable. Like, you can't even go lay claim to it. It's like, oh yeah, let me just lay claim to this barren wasteland of death now. Like, there's just nothing there. Like, nobody wins. So when I look at war, right, me personally, I think that you have to have an end goal to achieve something. If we all just start fighting and nuke everything, there's just nothing left to be had from the quote unquote winner.
No one wins. Like we just said, like there's a great speech in Doctor Who from the Capaldi years where he has this epic speech against war, and it's so spot on. Like, I love it. And I repost it every time I see it, because like war always ends. How do you end a war? A treaty. Everyone sits down at a fucking table and negotiates. That's the only way it ends. That's the only way it starts. That's the only way it ends. So you might as well just start with the negotiations, because like all you're gonna do is kill a bunch of people and then end up back at that same fucking table negotiating again after a bunch of stupid, pointless death. It always is going to lead back to a table for negotiations. So you have to just sit down and talk. It's the only way.
Because eventually it leads to so much civil unrest. Like, not for nothing, patriotism and all that's always great and high in the beginning. But as more and more people start to realistically die, the civilians and the soldiers alike are like, hey, yo, cuz, we don't want to do no more. Like, especially if it's been going on for years.
Yeah, because not to cut you off, but like, who's fighting?
People.
It's the kids from Compton and the kids from Wyoming, some poor ass kid trying to pay for their college education. That's who's gonna go fucking die in the war. It's not gonna be the politicians' kids. It ain't gonna be them.
Facts.
Yeah. Well, my take, and hopefully
ain't
not
gonna
to
be
get...
me either.
Hey, bro, we gotta go back to duels, bro.
Gonna go back to duels, you said?
Yeah, let them fight it like Putin versus Biden 1-on-1 to the death.
Or look, we should just do like a 50 versus 50. All right, your 50 best versus my 50 best the island. Winner takes 25% of the country's oil. Like, we just gonna go.
Not a bad idea, dog.
Yeah, it's not. Tournament of Ragnarok style. I actually like that.
Patriotic members from your country. You're gonna take the most patriotic people from our country. We're gonna send out our best like SEALs or whatever. You're gonna send out your best Russian, whatever. No super high tech weaponry, like no drone strikes. Bama's just get tactical gear. Y'all go ahead and do what it do. You know what I'm saying? Winner takes whoever survives the last, or whoever's leader get captured, or capture the flag, death battle style. I don't know, but occupy the other person's location along. I don't know, but 50 versus 50, 100, whatever you want to do. But I feel like to the point we have to say like, yeah, because it's not even just nukes, bro. They have like explosive weapons that can take down city blocks. Like, what is the point?
Yeah. Well, the funny enough, Elon Musk had like a couple of theories too about like nukes are like the least of our problems. It's when we get into like, digital warfare and AIs and like the chemical warfare of like, viruses and whatnot, that'll really be the biggest issue, because those are the hardest to control. Like the easiest thing to not
bad, bro.
Yeah. Like the easiest way to stop a nuke is just don't hit the button, which we've been able to do pretty successfully, remarkably, since Japan, and we're still continuing to do for the most part. But like, what happens when you make a organism that just wants to kill everybody and you don't know how to control it? Like, that's a whole different situation.
Bro, imagine Putin got like a super COVID and he just said like, all right, 2,000 Russians, hey, y'all just gonna go over there and sit in airports and cough.
Yo, it's done. It's done. So what if they get like the freaking zombie gene, you know what I'm saying? And now they can go, we're making the, like, it gets that crazy, but like these are realistic things. I will say this one thing. I don't want to offend anybody, but like I will commend Russia, primarily Putin, for his ability to loose this situation. Because if anything, like this really started way back in 2014 when America finally, like what CJ was talking about, when and I'll just keep that short, when America intervened in Russian dealings and pretty much like annexed the Ukraine from them. I don't know if that was happening at that point in time, but essentially America at one point in time bankrolled and sold the weapons to Nazis in Ukraine to install a puppet government to just have a place in Ukraine. Like that really did happen. That's not even like secret information like that. You can look that up on the internet. And I think it's crazy because Putin was like, all right, I'm going to devise a plan to get that thing back. And essentially led to waiting for the perfect time where there's the most civil unrest in America. We are the sickest and most unhealthy that we've ever been. Our economy is approaching in shambles. And, we're just draining our people. I think Putin chose to do this at a time where he knew that our people would tell Biden, do not get involved.
The dog, man. He picked it, man. Strategy off the wall.
Yeah, man. He loose this joint 100%. He like Yagami this one, whatever. Because like, if anything, he's made it so we don't even have to go nuclear, because that's, like what you said, Nick, that's also still an aspect of like, it could get to that point. But also, you don't even have to worry about that point, because let's be real. If you ask any one of us and any person on the street, everyone's going to be like, Biden, we don't know those people and we're sorry for Ukraine, but like, do not get involved in this. Do not, like, if you get involved in this before you fix healthcare, like, bro, you will go down as like the worst president of all time.
I don't care. Like I said, like if Biden cared about what the American people wanted or needed, we would have healthcare. Like we would have things we needed. They'll go to war. His press secretary came out today and answered the question about the low support for the war. And they asked her like, it's only like 24% of Americans that are on board with war with Russia. And she was like, oh, we don't make those situations based on what the American people want. We do them based on national security or whatever, something along those lines. But basically like,
affect us nationally, like not for nothing. The Russia taking back or just taking the Ukraine doesn't change our life at all as Americans.
Not directly.
I mean, even indirectly.
I mean, it gives them more land and it gives them more people to weaponize one day. But like,
have a lot of exports and stuff like that. It'll be a chess piece in the game of geopolitics, but like it's more economic shit. Like I said, the random everyday person in like Atlanta is not going to feel the effects. Right. Yeah, you're right.
And economics, real talk, is again, like you said earlier, still just a matter of negotiations.
You're gonna have to do it eventually. So it's like, and then like war, everyone feels like they're right in war until the next person comes along. Like you said, it's just war is so stupid. It's been going on since the beginning of time, and we still haven't evolved past it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's profitable.
Hey,
That's the
whole time,
problem for certain people.
What's you saying?
I want to know who those 24% of Americans are that supported this. Like,
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that sounded high to me too. I was like, I'm surprised it was even that high. I was thinking like 14 or some shit.
People. That is 1 in 4. You ask 4
right.
Americans, and one of them is like, you know what's crazy? None of them probably going to fight.
Hell no.
Of course not.
They're probably those are the pundits, those are the billionaire pundits, and those are the people that have the strongest opinions about war, the ones that aren't sending their kids over there.
People who live in like middle of America, like that's the other thing. Like if you want to feel safe, like live in pretty much the most boring part of America, because that's pretty much the hardest parts to actually get to.
North Dakota, like, let's be real, they're not nothing. There's like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody. He's not about to. If I'm just saying, in the event of an invasion, you really think they about to send a whole bunch of troops to freaking Iowa? Like,
no, it's not. Yeah, it's not even about the troops. It's just like about the range of whatever.
Yeah, they start blowing shit up. Yeah. My fate is sealed. Okay.
Bro, we live too close. Right?
Yeah, I'm about to say we did.
It's a wrap for us, and we're coastal. That's where the ship's at.
It's a 50-50 because it's like we are both on the border, but we are also in the most heavily protected part of America, essentially. So it's like, you got to go through a lot to actually hit us. Like the people who I would be concerned about are people in like California, Florida, New York, things like that. You know, they got way like if there's going to be a place that is protected, it is, well, without saying on the podcast, like this particular area. You know, the place.
Florida need a reset button anyway.
Wow.
Yo, Sniper Elite with the wow.
Wow. Do we really need to count Florida as part of the country? I'm just saying, man.
CJ's in Florida right now.
That's what
He's gonna kill CJ.
Gonna come back, bro. CJ got a place here.
He's in Florida right now.
Krakoa.
God damn. Not everybody in Florida. Just CJ come back right quick. We're just, God damn. All right.
I will say I feel a little bad for Biden because it's like, yo, can you imagine being the guy that goes to Biden and he's just like, hey, these guys who want to steal back the country that we stole from them by bankrolling and arming Nazis now is trying to take that country back, and we're supposed to pretend like we're mad about it. Go. That, like, you can tell that's all on his face as he's doing these interviews. He's like putting strong sanctions on Russia. Like he doesn't even want this beef. He probably didn't even know until he became president that this was even a thing.
He doesn't know where he's at in most places. Like Joe Biden he's got 1 foot in the grave.
My man is like 80 years old, bro. Like, I'm sure. All right, now I got a what now?
I can guarantee you Biden was somewhere sitting down eating ice cream. They told him, hey, Biden, listen, niggas is tripping over there in Ukraine. He's like, huh?
Yo, my man had a big spoonful of Rocky Road when they told him this information. Like,
I didn't come here for this shit.
It's like maybe the Democrats shouldn't have elected a corpse. Like, maybe that would have been helpful to have someone who wasn't 307 years old. Right?
Every single time I look at him, like he looks confused, like every single time.
He always looked like he's looking for his glasses, bro.
This is a Weekend at Bernie's situation. There's a butterfly controlling Joe Biden.
Is the butterfly old too? What the fuck? It's an old ass butterfly controlling Joe Biden.
The butterfly named Corn Pop is controlling this man.
Jesus Christ. It's some wild stuff.
All right. Is that everything for Puffco Politics? I'm depressed already.
Man. Yeah.
We're depressed. All right. Time to have some fun. All right. Bubsy Samuels. Sorry to put you on the spot, but what is the proper way to execute a situation where Shorty tells you she wants a picture of Mjolnir
Okay. All right. This is a 3-step process because
before you go, I gotta
not
step
to,
off. Like I gotta step off just because I'm at work and like I'm gonna holler at y'all.
yeah.
And I don't send out the Mjolnir pics anyway. So like I'll get back to this
conversation. That's a true king right
later.
there. That's a true king.
Yeah, I'm definitely
protect your
here for
hammers, kings.
You have to be worthy.
Let them Jones rust.
Yeah, make sure she's worthy before she can lift me on there.
You have to be worthy.
Look, man, everybody's worthy. Everybody can lift it. Can they put it back down? That's the question.
All right.
Most definitely a 3-step process. First of all, you got to ascertain the situation. And pardon me if I go through this pretty quickly. You got to ascertain the situation. What kind of shawty is she, right? If she, I'll put it like this: if she takes shots of Cuervo, she don't really need a whole bunch. Just get her that jump. She just needs to know what she's working with. But if she's a little up there, you know what I'm saying? Let's say she got a master's degree and she's proud about it. You might need to, do some stuff. That brings us to step 2. What is your surrounding looking like? Women do not like boring Mjolnir pictures. I can definitely tell you that. I've actually gotten some complaints sent back to me.
A boring picture? What you mean boring Mjolnir picture?
It can be boring, bro. Put a piece of newspaper behind it. And it's not even today's date. Put yesterday's newspaper behind it. It's going to be boring as hell. Like a little spice.
You just got straight rod, nothing else.
Yeah, man. Like, you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta let them know, like, yo, you could live an exciting life, and so
some contrast. Okay, I see.
You and Henry live an exciting life. You feel me? And then that's step 3. Look at your surroundings. Look at what you got, and see what you can incorporate into the situation. Once you got an idea who she is, what you got going on, that's when you set the scene, my man. That's when you set the scene. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it looks mean, and put it on the screen.
And I feel you, bro. You got to put steps to the Mjolnir equation, bro. It's not one and you know what I'm saying. You can't just be waiting. Shorty be like, hey, send me a pic. You be like, okay, bet, pull your pants down, and just flick the joint, and then boom.
So
you can't do that.
So, Bubba, for context, when you say make it look mean, what do you mean make it look mean?
Make it
look man.
He said make it look mean, make it look mean.
You got baby oil that joint first.
Yeah, whoa. Look.
Oh, okay,
look,
but that is important though. You don't want to go dry. Like
I didn't say make it. I didn't say make it sheen. You over here really going for
You can't say shorty dry peen, bro. No. She gonna be like that joint look ashy.
Oh no, you're right.
You're
right. My bad. You can't send the Kevin Durant, Mjolnir pictures to anybody. But most definitely, when I say make it look mean, if no offense to my turtleneck and homies, but if you got it like that and you don't need any stimulation before the situation, then do that. That's actually pretty impressive to the ladies. If you don't, then she won't. So you got to get that thing looking like it's about to call the thunder. Lightning, sorry.
Yeah, you got to be semi-chub or full chub. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be out here soft balling.
Yeah, that's an insult, honestly. Like, come on.
Full power Super Saiyan. Just all rip, like.
That's like showing up to a job interview in sweatpants. Come on, bro. What are you doing?
Oh, you know what time it is. Never mind. You know what job I'm here for.
You wouldn't believe I went to a sexpo and they were talking, they was like rating like
I'm sorry.
I went to a sexpo. And
you just said it like it was
Yo, the joint was wild. It was a good time. The lady I was with, she went to a panel where they was like judging dick pics. So I ain't really go for obvious reasons. But she came back and she was like, yo, niggas really don't know how to send dick pics. Niggas was sending like soft dick pics to people thinking.
Hey, you really just kept going.
My boy.
Bro.
You gotta follow through, my boy.
My boy.
It's a thing, bro.
Okay, all right.
I gotta look that up.
No, don't look that up. Don't look that up.
Podcast.
You're gonna see me in one of the pictures.
No.
But on the real though, like you can't. Like I don't know how somebody thought it was a good idea to send out soft willies. That's like That's like sending out a bat signal in the daylight.
Yeah.
Over that John looking like the what was that show with the weird monster from back in the 80s? The monster ate cats and shit. The alien.
Oh, Elf.
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 Sending the off looking ass Joe. Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, dog. Like, what are you trying to accomplish here, buddy?
The only time that's okay is like no homo if you bless. Like
yeah,
that.
I'm about to say if you like this.
If it look all right when it's not all might, then fine.
You just got to be a shower, not a grower at the slightest.
But what if she has a thing for aardvarks? What else do she?
My man, gotta get it together.
No.
I'm glad we started with Russia.
Yeah. No, that's why you don't send the Joan over there, because you will be rushing. Like, don't be rushing to send the Joan over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, you gotta set the mood, man. You gotta light a candle or two.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Let
proper
your
lighting
down there. Yeah,
lighting is important.
Like, hey,
yes,
bro, you gotta make it look like it smell nice in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sending your little homie out into the world.
Also, fellas, don't ever send any. This is the other thing. You really can just take all this advice with just this statement. Don't send anybody anything that you wouldn't want the world to see.
That's facts. That's fact. She hated.
You can be on you're gonna be on a Summer Jam screen with your mans out there. Look at what your boy sent me.
Exactly.
You're gonna be in the female group chat. They're gonna be clowning you, bro. They're gonna be clowning.
Brother, you're gonna be on Facebook. You're gonna be live. Like, look at this nigga. Come get your boyfriend. He's sending me the hammer pics. It's not even that impressive.
Yeah, bro. Make sure if you're gonna send that to the hoes and you can get exposed, that you can still curl toes. Like,
yes,
you gotta know, bro. You gotta know.
Yes, and also, fellas. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that you have to remember about sending the hammer pic. Don't whiskey send the hammer pic. Like, don't just send it because you think she wants it. She has to ask for it first. Okay? Don't just be like, oh, maybe she wants it now.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't send her
a surprise at work, poke her in the eye at work. She's
I
over here trying to be a very conductive woman. You over here, hammer, whoa! She's at work right now.
Yo, I don't disagree with you. But I will admit I've done that unprovocated a couple of times.
You think it's romantic?
No, I don't. I think it's funny.
It's funny.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look, when all else fails, and you ain't got no shots left in the chamber, you just got out the glizzy.
How the hell is that the Hail Mary? Was that the Hail Mary?
Bro, I will, like, I've never sent it to someone who I didn't have something going on with already. So I'm not that guy. I'm not going to just spark up a conversation with you and like send you to jump. All the people I've ever sent to jump to.
Good morning. She said good morning back.
Lizzie. But nah, it's definitely been a funny situation. This man said veins. Yo, okay.
But,
he said veins.
Well, you know how niggas they try and get super close to add depth to it. So
hey.
Oh no!
And then you put an Apple remote just conveniently on your thigh.
For scaling, bitch. For scaling.
Where did this Comcast remote come from? Like,
for scaling,
it just happened to be here.
You know, on the box, you'd be like, "This is not the actual size that it is on the box." I just want you to know for scaling and contrast. Yes.
I guess that's also the fourth rule, fellas. It's like, yo, if you're sending it to her, she needs to know the size. Don't do one where it's like this. You feel me? Like, come on, bro. Like, don't do that. You know what you're doing.
My nigga, you scared the shit out of me, dog. Please, somebody just do that on it. It wasn't a bungee cord. It was just like stretching the fuck up there. All right, having too much fun. All right. Are there any other steps? Is there any other steps for Willie etiquette? Mjolnir. The Millionaire Manual. That's what we're gonna call it. The Millionaire Manual.
Manual. I like that.
Yes. The Millionaire Manual. Okay.
Other than that, ascertain the situation, see what she likes.
Mm-hmm.
What was that third one?
Gotta get them angles. Bro.
Yeah. Set up the situation. Yeah, gotta get the angles. Make sure the angles ain't terrible. And make sure you get last one, very important one. Don't send her nothing that you wouldn't want the world to see. That's a very important one. And as long as you get them 5, you should be fine.
All right. Thank you for those wonderful tips, Bubsy Samuels. Everybody, Bubsy Samuels. Any other topics? We already talked politics and we talked the Willie Manual, the Millionaire Manual. Good call it a night. All right, everyone.
The Lord's work.
We did the Lord's work today. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us on a new episode of Smokin Fire. Tell your friends about it. Tell your friends about the Fire Squad. Go ahead and subscribe on all platforms that people listen to stuff and watch stuff. We control your eyes and your ears, everybody. Fire Squad is going crazy. I'm also been here with Bubsy Wubsy, the certified tech nigga, B-Mac, Mac Ryan, and Sniper Lead. Thank you for joining us. Tell someone you love them. Gang.